Welcome back. AC lesson number 8. The name, testing the AC system using only the low pressure reading. And we know to stay away from the high. Before you connect the gauges, let's go ahead and identify the signs the system is low. Before you even connect the gauges, the signs are all over the place. Sign number 1, the vent temperature is not that cold. Customer knows, you know, that's why they're there. It's not that cold. It's probably low on refrigerant under the hood. Suction line, still an excellent test. Suction line is not cold or barely cold. I'm not kidding. On a good working air conditioning system, that whole suction line should feel like it has ice water running through it, and it should only take seconds for the beginning. That's sweet spot number 1 to get cold. Suction is either barely cold or not cold. Sign number 2 that the refrigerant is low on system. The clutch, you notice the clutch is not staying on, but. This is a good time for me to explain to you why you have to know the 2 types of refrigeration systems. I explained them to you, but I completely forgot to tell you the reasons you have to know. You have to know what you got for a bunch of reasons. And this is the first example, and it's a good one. If you have a tube type, that means that you identified it by looking for the accumulator. If you have a tube type, understand that clutch is going to be very sensitive to low pressure. The way the tube type controls the temperature slash pressure is by turning the compressor on and off, like the unit in your home. It turns on for a little while. When it reaches the right temperature, it turns off. It stays off until it needs to come on. On the tube type, it's very common for the clutch to turn off. The clutch won't stay on. However, if you have the other type, if you have the valve type of refrigeration system, the clutch is not a sign. You can be very low on refrigerant, and the clutch on the valve type will not turn off. They control the pressure temperature a different way. They don't cycle, they meter. They change the passage inside the valve to control the pressure slash temperature. On these, it won't hardly turn off until the system is almost at 0. So reason number 1, you should know what kind of refrigeration system you have is for proper diagnosis. They don't all cycle off. The tubes cycle off. Let's go on. There is frost. What do I mean by frost? It's frozen. And we have no problem creating frost here in South Texas with the high humidity. The lines, the plumbing, it should not frost over. If you are savvy about how the refrigeration system is laid out, the red arrow, I'm trying to indicate there is frost at the beginning of the liquid line. If the tube is located, and they are, most late model vehicles have the tube early in the line. If the tube is early in the line and there is frost just past it, that's a sign that it's low on refrigerant. The system is begging to work, it just needs some more refrigerant. Remember, the tube can be at the end and the tube can be in the middle. That's why you should know what you're working with. Again, let's go over the signs. It's obvious the vent temperature is not very good. Suction is barely cold or not. If you have a tube type, I can say it now, you have rapid cycling. That clutch should stay on until it's comfortable inside the passenger compartment. And if you're super savvy, you can show off by knowing that there's a tube looking at it and actually seeing the frost. All right, it's time to measure the low side pressure. There they are, high side, low side. Who knows why we don't need the high side? Who knows why we should actually avoid it? And on particular ones, don't even look at it. We really don't need the high side. There may be some readings coming at you, but let's talk about the caps. See those caps? They're way more important than you think. They can be a lifesaver. Here, connecting the gauges to either the high or the low, you take a risk. A risk of what? Creating a leak. These service fittings, some of them are terrible. If you connect, chances are you might have a leak. And if you can't replace it, fix it instantly, those caps, a good cap will stop the leak. Hey, let's connect. We connect. Now you're just going to have to get your hands on it. The lab's coming, right? Whether you're using gauges or a station, the information is the same. We have to understand the second reason why you have to know your refrigeration types on the screen. Hey, yes, I know we're reading blue and red, but when we're talking about, let's start at the top. Static. We are measuring the pressure with the engine off, AC off. It's not that hard. It's not that complicated. Let's keep it simple. What do we got to start with? Now they're saying that this is a fully charged system at 70 degrees. That's not us. Notice what we have. But the most important thing that I need to show you at this time is an additional test. We're testing two things here. We're testing static pressure and we're testing equalization. If you'll notice, the blue is right at 70. And if you look at the red, it's pretty darn close. It is the 70. The high side and low side are equalized. That can be a test if you're smart enough to pay attention to it. And unfortunately, here we go again. Only the two types equalize. Valve types will not equalize. That's just information you have to know. I know it might be a little confusing, but let's go on a little bit. No, this is not normal for Corpus. You know what it's like. In fact, we have it the worst of anybody in the state. We're right on the coast. Sure, it's hot in Austin and Dallas and Houston, but we're extra uncomfortable because of the humidity. I've paid attention to the humidity in Houston and Port Isabel and Brownsville. We have it the worst, and yes, it's hard to cool us down. All right, let's try to get normal. Here in South Texas in the summertime, 100 easy, plus or minus 5. Static pressure, this is what's normal for Corpus. Not no 70, that's Colorado. Okay, static, engine off, low side. We don't need the high side. The less service fittings we touch, the better. You can do everything through the low side. All right, it's just under 60. Well, that would put us at 57. Yes, we have 57. This is static pressure. We got no business being hanging at 57. The system is low on refrigerant. You don't even have to start the engine. You already know it's low on Freon. Now it's very, very low. The darn thing is empty. Before I get all carried away with a bunch of abnormal readings, wow, look at all of those. Before I get you all confused with those, let's take a quick look at something that looks like this. It's low, but no. Let's just finish this off. Let's concentrate on the most important lesson. One of the most important lessons of this semester is finding those leaks. Remember, there's 6 methods to find leaks, and more leaks. That will be the next lesson, lesson number 9. How to find refrigerant leaks. Dun dun.